The Pittsburgh Penguins have made multiple sneaky good signings as we get our first glimpse into Kyle Dubas' plans for this team this offseason. We're also going to break down multiple other updates as it pertains to some trades the Penguins could make this offseason. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Penguins Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the Pittsburgh Penguins, be sure to go down below, hit that free subscribe button, and you get to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Mark, today some interesting, we weren't really expecting any moves on this Friday, but we are getting this video out because the Pittsburgh Penguins made a couple sneaky good moves, and one of them I think Pittsburgh Penguins fans should be very excited about, and that is Melvin Fernstrom. And you know, if you don't know who this is, he was included, if you can remember back to pre-trade deadline. I know it seems like a while ago at this point, but he was included in the Marcus Pettersson trade to the Vancouver Canucks, coming back the other way. He was the prospect and one of the bigger pieces, I think, of this trade. Obviously, Heinen is a good player as well and NHL ready, but Fernstrom is a great player, and we are going to get into the other signing in just a little bit, which was Boko Imama. It's a re-signing for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but obviously Fernstrom signing his ELC, pretty exciting stuff. What can you tell us about this player? Because it looks like he's going to be a really good player and maybe not make the NHL next season, but he's going to start taking those steps to make the NHL.
I mean, the big thing with Fernstrom is he's one of those underrated prospects. We've seen him play in the Swedish Hockey League. I believe it was Abro HK. We know the big thing with him is he doesn't have the most lethal shot, but he knows how to play with or off the puck. When it comes to goal scoring, getting into his groove, finding his spots, he can score goals. We've seen him play in the World Juniors as well, winning bronze, I think it was, up almost a point per game. He can still score you goals. The numbers might not be the flashiest, but you got to remember, playing in the Swedish Hockey League, this is against men. This is not against just some children in the OHL, CHL, not taken away from either of these leagues. But we know playing in Sweden is a lot harder. It's a bigger ice. It is a shortened season, but I do think there's a lot to look. Still a bit of a bigger frame. He's not a small body, but I do think Fernstrom has the potential to be a middle six scorer when he makes it to the NHL. I don't think he'll join the lineup as soon as next year, but I think there's a strong chance that in 2 years from now, we're going to see him as a middle six scorer for this team. And I mean, ceiling could be a top six scorer if he continues to develop the right way.
Absolutely, and you make a good point. He's not in the OHL, the CHL, or college hockey. He's playing against men as a 19-year-old. And like I popped up on screen there for a second, he actually won the Rookie of the Year for the Swedish Hockey League last year as a 19-year-old with 17 points in 48 games, including 11 points in his last 19 games. So clearly figuring out the league, which is something that I look for in prospects as well, that, you know, when they make the jump to pro, are they at least figuring out how to play in the league? Because there is an adjustment period. You see it all the time when players jumping to the NHL. And of course, even in junior hockey, you see that there's an adjustment period after the first year and how they kind of, deal with that. So that's a good sign, I think, for him, obviously for the Penguins. And now he's making the jump to the pro level in North America. I would imagine, in signing this contract, he is going to make the jump to the Wilkes-Barre Stratton Penguins, probably play in the AHL next year, continue his development. But, like we touched on, he's been playing against men in the SHL. So good first step for him. He signs his ELC, and just to break down the contract here, it's an $872,000 contract. Obviously, the salary is a base salary of $775,000. As we know, around the league, he has a signing bonus and a couple other bonuses as well, and that's his cap hit. And his AAV is $975,000. So any final thoughts, Mark, on this player? Again, I don't think he's going to make the NHL right away, but I feel like this is a guy who, you're projecting maybe middle six. I feel like he's going to be in the NHL one day and could be a difference maker.
I mean, the big thing with Abro as well, this system has been developing some great prospects. The Vancouver Canucks drafting Fernstrom, we've seen him join, but their top two prospects in their system in Jonathan Lekkerimäki and Tom Williner both played with Abro as well. This is a team that has developed some great players. Like I said, Lekkerimäki a goal scorer. Fernstrom's the same. So I do expect him to join this team. I'm not going to say he's going to score 30 goals, and I'm not guaranteeing it, but I do think 20 plus goals is in the books for him once he gets over. There's going to be a developing curve. We know a lot of young guys coming over from Sweden. The season almost doubles from what they're playing in the SHL or the Swedish Hockey League. So the big thing is it might take a 1 year to 1.5 years of a learning curve. But I do think one day this kid's going to be a great player from Pittsburgh, and fans are going to really look back as this could be one of the best pieces coming back in the Marcus Pettersson trade.
And I think it was a big piece coming back in that trade. And again, you can take a look at the trade here if you want to pause and look at it. Some interesting pieces that were going both ways, that's for sure. But to move on a little bit, a re-signing, not necessarily as exciting, I guess, but there is reason to be excited about this signing. If you are a Penguins fan, and it is Boko Imama re-signing with the Pittsburgh Penguins, a fan favorite to a degree, I think, amongst the fan base, and obviously a guy that I think you need on the team heading into next year, right? Because you're getting a lot younger next season, that is for sure. A lot of the guys, we saw glimpses of it last season. I would imagine some of them are going to make the team out of camp. But you're going to need some toughness in the lineup as well, some physicality, and that's exactly what this guy brings. And again, you could take a look at his stats, and they don't really jump off the page, and we know that. We know what type of player he is, and he plays his role, and that's great. And I think that the Penguins need that, so I'm glad that they re-signed him, and he did that last season as well. And again, fans are, I think, pretty happy. The reaction so far online is very positive, and they're glad that they're bringing this player back. And again, his contract is structured very similarly to Fernstrom's, I guess. Obviously not an ELC, but in terms of cap hit, again, base salary, he could end up in the minors as well. We don't know exactly how that's going to play out and how the roster is going to shake out over the next couple of weeks, I guess, heading into free agency. But keeping a guy like this in the organization, I think, is a good thing. And, if there's ever any injuries, and you don't know, he can make the team out of camp as well, right? So you need a guy like this, I think, in your organization. So it's a good thing. And again, the last thing I wanted to bring up before I throw it over to you, Mark, for your thoughts on this signing too, is his expected goals and his on-ice goals percentage. Pretty good numbers. He's making things happen, and I feel like it's because he's using his physicality as well. So any thoughts on Boko Imama re-signing with the Pittsburgh Penguins? Because again, we talk a lot about prospects signing their ELCs, and there's been some other chatter and noise, and there's some noise out there about Brian Rust right now because his no movement clause or no trade clause kicks in on July 1st as well. But I feel like you need guys like this on the team and in the organization as well.
I mean, that's the big thing. He might not make the team straight out of camp or to start this season, but when you're getting closer to deadline, if the Penguins are continually selling their players to get more draft capital prospects, whatever it might be, this is the perfect example as you have a tough guy to come up, protect the young kids, protect the veterans. The big thing is when you're getting in, you can add so much skill to a roster, but if you're playing a physical team and they're wearing and tearing on you on a 7-game series, guys like this are the perfect example as glue guys to bring in. And I do think, listen, it's not going to be a 20-goal scorer. He's not going to go out and score 50 points for you. I mean, if he did, that would be incredible. But the big thing is you need these types of players in your lineup. And honestly, this signing's an A+1 from Dubas, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And again, I'll reiterate what I said. You need guys like this, and what this tweet says and what the fan base, I think, is feeling right now. You need guys who play with physicality and who are fearless in the lineup. And that's exactly what he brings to the table. So pretty low risk contract, I think. There's no reason not to do this, and they finally got it done. And I feel like the team is maybe not necessarily what we'll see on opening night, but I feel like it's starting to take shape a little bit, and we're starting to see what the salary cap is going to look like as well, or how much money they're going to spend, which they have a lot of it. So it's going to be interesting to see how they weaponize both that and some of their assets, because like Kyle Dubas said, they're now in the execution phase. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle that. Let us know in the comments how you feel about both signings. I think both of them are A+ signings, honestly. There's no risk to them, and you're finally getting one player's career started in North America, which I think is really good. Again, assuming he's going to make the jump to the AHL next year. I am just assuming he could stay, but I don't think that's the case. Why would he sign his ELC then? So we will see what happens. Let us know in the comments how you feel about it, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything Pittsburgh Penguins.